and then I'll share. Can you see the presentation?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why is it not going? So just for the record, I'm recording this and it will be added to vote.je and I'll share the slides as well. I'm Ian Cope, the Chief Statistician and Director of Statistics and Analytics, and this is a briefing for election candidates on the Jersey statistical system and what information is available. So what I'm going to cover is the role of my role, the Chief Statistician and Director of Statistics and Analytics, the general election guidance and statistics, Stats Jersey, its structure and the outputs that we produce, something about the statistics users group, which is independent, and codes of practice for statistics and official statistics, the statistics teams, the other statistics teams that are in government, and then what statistics is available, what statistics are available from them and how to find them, and then the island outcomes and indicators. 1 second, someone's waiting in the lobby. Sorry. I'll need to start sharing again. Apologies. Oh God. I've started, and just to let you know that I'm recording this, and the recording and the slides will be made available on vote.je for all candidates. So I'm just going back to my presentation. I was just starting to talk about the content. So statistics teams, again, what statistics is available across government and how to find them. So that's the statistics from Statistics Jersey and from the other statistical and analytical teams, and then also the island outcomes and indicators and the service performance measures. So this is information on the performance of government. This presentation is quite content heavy. It's designed to signpost election nominees and candidates to the statistical information from Government of Jersey, which you might be interested in. And I've also included links to the various data sources. And so the video of this presentation will be posted to vote.je by the Gref along with the presentation, which should enable you to sort of follow the links to find the data more easily. So my role as the Chief Statistician and Director of Statistics and Analytics, there's the Statistics Law 2018, so I've got statutory roles under the law. I lead Statistics Jersey, which is a robust independent statistical service. I'm the government's principal advisor on the measurement and analysis of official statistics. I have a broader role across government around looking at developing kind of the framework of statistics across government and sort of professional standards. I lead on the career and professional development for statisticians and analysts in departments. So we've got statisticians in Statistics Jersey, but there's other statistical and analytical colleagues in other departments. I'll explain where. And then a piece of work that we're sort of trying to kick off is about building the capability and capacity across the sector. And so whenever I have to let somebody in, I seem to lose the presentation. And then professional standards, methodologies and reporting. So under the Stats and Census Law 2018, I'm responsible for leading Statistics Jersey, as I mentioned. The law says that in exercising any of its functions, Stats Jersey has the right to act independently, responsible for the content of the statistical releases and publications by Stats Jersey. I have the right to comment on the quality and interpretation of statistics produced by any public authority, so that's any government department, parishes, etc., and then ensuring compliance with the code of practice for official statistics. I can explain about the codes of practice in a minute. Just briefly on the general election, the The guidance, the general election guidance, includes a paragraph 17 on statistics. So during the election period, Statistics Jersey will continue to publish the pre-announced statistics, the regular pre-announced statistics. Now, in practice, the only one that comes out during the election period is the House Price Index on the 19th of May. And then the Public Health Analytics team will continue to publish the regular weekly and monthly COVID statistics. But apart from that, there won't be any statistics being produced during the election period. You know, officials shouldn't be competing with candidates for the attention of the public. But statisticians and analysts can continue to respond to FOI requests in the normal way. So this is Structure of Statistics Jersey. There are so you've got me there at the top. Dan Edmonds is my deputy. There are only 8 permanent members of staff in Statistics Jersey, and we have 2 teams, one on the left about population and social statistics. So focusing on the census at the moment, for instance, but we also produce tourism and the Jersey Opinions and Lifestyle Survey, etc. And the right-hand team leads on economic statistics. So I'll talk about that, but things like the House Price Index and energy trends and retail prices, etc. And obviously, at the moment, the census and living costs and household income survey, we have temporary staff supporting us. So this is the range of economic statistics that Statistics Jersey produces. So we're still producing quarterly open data on the COVID economic support, although of course that will wind down shortly. The quarterly retail price index, we produce a business trend survey, so that looks at, it asks managers of businesses their kind of attitudes, are things looking better or worse than last quarter. Actively seeking work, so those people that are claiming benefits for out of work. The House Price Index quarterly, which obviously gets lots of coverage. Labour market statistics we do twice a year, so for June and December. An index of average earnings comes out once a year. National accounts are done annually. And we produce energy trends annually. We run a telecoms statistics survey annually. We do a survey of financial institutions every year, and then periodically we update purchasing power parities. So that's a way of comparing prices internationally between jurisdictions. So there's quite a wide range of economic statistics produced by the 3 people in that team. And then on social statistics side, we run the Jersey Opinions Lifestyle Survey every year. It didn't run last year because of the pressure of work of the census, but this year it will take place in June, shortly after the election, because it will have some questions at the request of the GREF about voting. We do population estimates annually between censuses. We do a children and young person survey every 2 years, and we publish the results of the 2021 survey back in March. Better Life Index, this is an OECD-led way of comparing sort of a range of indicators broader than just GDP across countries, and we published the latest version of that about a month ago. Living cost and household income survey, that's a big survey that takes about a year, and it asks people about their income and expenditure, and out of that we produce analysis on income distribution, so the poorer end of the income distribution and the top end of the income distribution. We produce information on expenditures, how people spend their money, and this is also a critical source for the weights for the RPI basket of goods. So when we're producing the retail prices, as well as measuring the prices of individual items like a loaf of bread or a pair of trousers or something, we have to weight them all together, and that's based on expenditure patterns. The last full living cost and household income survey was from 2014-15. Stats Jersey had started rerunning this in 2019, which is supposed to run for a year, but because this is a survey that takes place in people's houses, it had to be stopped due to the COVID restrictions, and we're publishing some limited analysis from that partial sample tomorrow, in fact. And we restarted the LCHIS in September, and it will run until September, October of next year. We do population and household projections every 5 years, so that's looking longer term. And obviously we do the census every 10 years, and we recently, we listed yesterday, for instance, published census results on housing and households and health characteristics. And then we also deal with FOI requests. We provide briefing in response to State Assembly questions. We can do additional analyses for officials and others the request by slicing and dicing the data in different ways. So the Statistics Jersey's upcoming releases are listed 12 months ahead on the web page. There's a link there. So Stats Jersey, all the publications coming out for a year ahead are listed there. And then under the Stats Jersey part of the website, Government of Jersey website, there's a place for past reports. All of the reports that have been published in the past are listed by year on that link. And then there's also a link through to the Independent Statistics Users Group on those pages as well. Talking about the Statistics Users Group, this existed informally prior to 2018, but the 2018 Statistics Law puts the Stats Users Group onto a statutory basis. They're independent of government and have the primary function of overseeing the quality, relevance and integrity of statistics compiled by or on behalf of the public authority. So that covers the work of Statistics Jersey. It also covers the statistical outputs of all other government departments and government-owned bodies. The public authorities are defined in line with the Freedom of Information law. And then the Stats Law required the Statistics Users Group to produce a code of practice for official statistics in Jersey. So just to differentiate between public authority statistics and official statistics, so public authority under the law, public authority statistics are those that are produced by public authorities other than Statistics Jersey. So that will be statistics produced by other government departments, and they're governed by a code of practice for statistics. It's 19 pages long. There's a link there. Then official statistics are defined under the law as those produced by Statistics Jersey and that are included in their forward release schedule. And so there's a code of practice for official statistics as well, and that basically all of the requirements of the code of practice for statistics apply to Statistics Jersey, but there's some additional ones on top of that as well. So all of the Statistics Jersey's outputs have to be pre-announced in the release schedule, but also there's no access to anybody apart from the team producing the statistics prior to publication. That didn't used to be the case until the Statistics Law. Ministers used to routinely get prior access to the statistics, but that was stopped by my predecessor when the law came in. So when Statistics Jersey releases data at 10 o'clock, whatever the chosen date is, nobody apart from the Statistics Jersey team has seen it in advance. Moving on to the kind of broader range of statisticians and analysts across government, you've obviously got the official statistics that are produced by Statistics Jersey, and there's an image there of the Stats Jersey web page with links to the release schedule and the past reports. But then there are public authority statistics and teams of statisticians and analysts in a range of other departments. So HCS has an informatics team that have been producing lots of health-related statistics and have also been contributing to the COVID statistics. Public Health Intelligence team, which sit within SPPP, now have got responsibility for all of the COVID statistics, but they do work on smoking and drinking and all those kind of public health analyses that you'd kind of expect. The SIPES informatics team produce a lot of information on education, exam results, but also children and adult mental health services, etc. The other functions, not just schools and education, that are within SIPES. Treasury and Exchequer have an analytics team, as you'd expect, and that they produce statistics as well as some of the tax analysts as well. Then CLS has an information analysts team who produce statistics. They collect information across government customer experience, but they also produce statistics on benefits and the kind of work that's in place. The HR team within Government of Jersey produces statistics on the number of people working for Government of Jersey, the number of bullying and harassment cases, those kind of things. There's a small team of analysts that work for the police, who support the police in both producing statistics for the police annual report, but also helping the police make sure they're targeting their resources efficiently. And I believe there's one analyst in the Safeguarding Partnerships Board. So there's, across government, there's probably about 40 to 50 statistical and analytics posts. The question is, how do you find all those statistics? So there's a page on the Government of Jersey website called Jersey in Figures, and that kind of collates statistics from across government. And I've kind of given you a snapshot of part of the website there. So it's ordered by theme, so business and economy, education, environment, etc. Some of the statistics are more up to date than others. I've got some people working at the moment to try and update it. The education statistics, for instance, is currently only up to 2016. Hopefully before the election period starts, that will be updated to the most up-to-date data. So there's a whole range of statistics available from that page on crime, business and economy, public health, health and the work of HCS, emergency services, ambulance, and those kind of things. There's environmental statistics, carbon emissions, etc. There's some stats on housing and living. There's government accounts, income and expenditure, etc. data there. And there's also information on travel and transport. So look for Jersey in Figures. It's a really good way of finding a lot of the range of information that's available from across government. Moving on, I want to talk about the Ireland Outcomes and Indicators. I just need to give a bit of background on that. So the Public Finances Jersey Law 2019 requires the Council of Ministers to take into account the sustainable well-being of the current and future generations when they develop the government plan. So that's thinking about not only making decisions in the short term, but thinking about the longer term consequences. And the sustainable well-being is focused around longer term progress, over a decade or so, rather than short-term interventions. So the long-term aspirations, are probably enduring and will outlive the term of a particular government, and they're organised in 3 themes: community well-being, so the quality of people's lives; environmental well-being, the quality of the environment and the water and the nature, etc., and also economic well-being, how the economy is performing. And there was a Future Jersey exercise that was carried out in 2017-2018, where Islanders were engaged around what was most important to them. And the My Jersey report identified 10 topics that Islanders regarded as important, and they were organised in these themes: children, health and well-being, safety and security, vibrant and inclusive communities, affordable living, business environment, jobs and growth. They're built environments, that includes housing, the natural environment and sustainable resources. So the Ireland Outcomes and Indicators are grouped, those 10 topics are grouped into the 3 themes that the sustainable well-being requirement has: community well-being, environmental well-being and economic well-being. So you've got the 10 aspects there around the wheel, and there's a lot of information on the Jersey Performance Framework page about essentially tracking long-term changes. So I'll just on health and well-being to give you a kind of example of how it's structured. So health and well-being has 5 topics, which include that Islanders benefit from a healthy lifestyle, and then within that item there's Jersey has a healthy population, and that itself has 7 associated indicators. So this is like a root and branch, basically. You start at the top level and you can dig down and find a whole load of information that's available. And then for each indicator, you've got like a long-term chart. So the examples here of life expectancy at birth. So again, you can see how the island has done in this instance since 2012 or 2014. So I would encourage you to have a look at that in terms of kind of long-term themes. Then final kind of area that I want to cover is service performance measures. So the island outcomes and indicators focus on long-term progress, but the departmental service performance measures are focused on in-year performance against targets set by departments. So how are departments doing against the targets that they set themselves? It also captures customer experience data where it's available. So I'm going to give an example in a minute, but most service performance measures have a RAG status, a red, amber, green status assigned to them. And if you go to the web page, which I'll get a link to in a moment, it's green if it's if we're kind of beating the target. It's amber if we're within about 5% of it, or red if we're outside 5% of the target. So you can see quite quickly the extent to which departments are meeting or not meeting the targets they've set themselves. Now, the service performance measures and targets are included in the departmental operation business plans, which are published every year. So I've given a link there to the 2022 plans, so they're organised by department, and within each of the business plans, there's a section on service performance measures. And across government at the moment, there were 223 service performance measures for 2022. This regime was first introduced in 2020 when there was 150 service performance measures, so we're actually monitoring a larger range of departmental performance now. And then the outcomes against those service performance measures are updated online every quarter. So given a link there to the Q4 2021 data. The Q1 2022 data is going to be published, I think either today or tomorrow. So where the data is available quarterly, it's updated quarterly, but for some things like exam results, for instance, the data is only available once a year. So that data gets updated when it becomes available. So I've got an example here of what it looks like. So each department has a kind of standard format. So there's an example for CLS, and just to kind of explain how it works. On the left-hand side, you've got the minister and the team that's responsible for this particular measure. You've got a description. So in this instance, income support new claims are set up within the service level agreement. You've got periodicity. So is it available quarterly or annually? Baseline. So what was the figure last year, for instance, or Q4 last year, for instance? It's typically baselines will be an annual average or a quarterly figure. A target. So in this instance, the performance has to be on or above the target of 95%. This is for the Q4 last year. So you've got the 4 quarterly outturns, and they get updated progressively. RAG status. So are we meeting the target? So in this one, it's green, for instance. You can see the number 4 was red, so not meeting the target. And then there's a direction of travel and RAG status for that as well. So is the indicator going up or down? And sometimes going up is good, and sometimes going up is bad. So if it's about government debt, you don't want that to go up. So going up would be bad in that instance. But the one at the bottom, meeting the setting new income support claims up quickly, going up is good. So you've got an up and down indicator and a colour code as well, which tells you whether it's good or bad. The final slide here of the presentation is a whole load of links to data. So when this presentation's loaded to vote.je, you'll be able to follow those links to save you having to find your way around the website. Now, I'm going to stop recording now, and then I'll open it up for questions. So if you just give me a second, I'll stop recording.